Hello, everyone. My name is Olamide Aluoja. I'm a senior product designer with over 10 years experience. I'm also an AI automation specialist, and I'll be taking you through the course Artificial Intelligence, LLMs, and Automation. So, though restructured the title as AI Fundamentals and Prompt Engineering. I hope you guys can see me as I talk. So, okay, let's go forward. So, I'm going to share this presentation document with you after the course. You can use it to go through everything we're going to be talking about in this course. But first, before I go straight into the entire course, let me say something clearly. AI is not the future, it is already restructuring the present. Right now, businesses are replacing repetitive work with automation. Teams are shrinking, output is increasing, and the people who understand AI systems, they are becoming irreplaceable. This course is not about using ChatGPT to write captions. This course is about building intelligent systems. At the end of this program, you will understand how AI actually works, how to control it, how to connect it to real APIs, how to build automation workflows, how to design AI agents, and how to reduce hallucinations, how to enforce structured output, how to build RAG systems. Now, you'll be thinking, what is all this? I'm going to explain later. Don't worry. You are not here to just consume AI, you are here to build it. So, this skill you're going to be learning applies to marketing agencies, e commerce brands, real estate companies, recruitment firms, coaches, startups, SaaS companies, operation teams. Anywhere there's repetition, automation can create leverage. So if there is workflow, that means there is an opportunity for you to work. And yes, I will also teach you how to monetize the skill. That's very important. I'm talking about how to package automation services, how to price based on value, how to find your first client, position yourself as an AI automation specialist, turn workflows into recurring revenue, or even turn them into products. This is not just a technical course, it's a leverage course. I will give you more context later on. So, most people use AI to stay relevant, but you will use AI to build systems. There's a huge difference. One group consumes tools, the other group designs infrastructure. And infrastructure builders, they always get paid. Hence why I told you it's a course where you get paid for what you learned. Now, I expect something from you also. I expect you to show up, build, break things. Don't be afraid to break stuffs. You're going to make mistakes. So try as many things as possible because this course is going to be 50% theory and 50% practical. So, and ensure you go through all the practicals. This will really help you to increase your income after you finish this course. You're able to increase your income, just like I mentioned earlier. You're able to increase your value in the job market, and you'll be able to increase your ability to build product and also increase your independence. Conclude by the end of this course, you won't just understand AI, you will understand automation. And once you understand automation, you stop trading your time for money and you start building systems that work for you. So let's begin. First, yeah. So what we're going to be doing over in overview, we're going to be learning how LLMs work. That is large language models, how they work. We're going to be learning prompt engineering, APIs in Anyten. How do you connect with APIs? Anyten is the platform we're going to be using for every automation system we are going to build in this entire course. AI orchestration, building real AI tools, demo, and certificate. So for today, I will just break it first, just give you the basic foundation. I'm going to be teaching you how LLMs work, what are tokens, how does it influence your cost, what is hallucination, how do you structure your prompts, and what exactly is JSON, and how do you think JSON first when writing prompts. Yes, don't get scared when I mention a lot of jargon or a lot of big words. All these things you will understand them with time, but I'll try as much as possible not to bore you with all these details or jargon. Yeah. So now, what is AI, ML, deep learning? Because you're hearing this a lot. AI is artificial intelligence. This is the umbrella over the whole system. ML means machine learning. This is the ability to learn from data. Deep learning is the neural network that combines everything all together. So LLM, when I mention LLM, is a large language model, just like GPT that you all know. These are deep learning models. But here's the part that matters to us. LLMs generally they predict, they do not know, they do not understand, they only predict next words or content or based on context you give to it anyway. So the major automation takeaway here is that we don't care much about intelligence, we care more about the reliability output. So let's go forward. You understand more as we go forward. Now, an LLM predicts the next token. I guess we ask what is token. So that will be the next space, the next sentence, or not just the next idea. It's actually the next token. Now, these tokens are predicted based on probability. I guess you guys that did math will understand what probability is. I don't want to go into that for now. This means if your prompt is quite vague, your output will be completely unstable. And in automation, unstable means broken workflow, which means your system is not going to work. That's why we must design prompts for machines and not humans. So you don't communicate as if you're talking to normal human being. You talk based on structured data and syntax. So now I mentioned token earlier. What exactly is token? Tokens are fragments of text. So every word you send to AI actually costs money, consumes time, and increase hallucination risks. Just like I mentioned here, example of token is, let me just say AI automation is powerful, or any sentence or keywords you join together is actually a token. So the longer your token, do you understand, is going to be the amount of money you're going to spend when you're doing your automation. I guess we're thinking, how do I spend money? So don't worry, when you start doing the practical, you understand how you exactly, it costs you more money when you write longer tokens. Two, I mentioned this affects your speed and affects your workflow performance. So next, why tokens matter in anything. Now, I mentioned earlier, anything is a platform where we are going to be building our automation systems. So when your workflow runs like 1,000 times per day, a bad prompt can cost you real money. So you have to ensure that your prompt has to be short, it has to be clear, and it has to be structured. So the major rule you should have at the back of your mind is what? You have to be precise and you have to be structured when you're giving your prompts. Now let's go to the next thing, embeddings. Now, whenever I ever mention embeddings actually turn meaning into numbers because systems communicate based on zeros and ones. Is that right? So we use embeddings for search, for similarity, for knowledge retrieval, and for RAG systems. So, which means, okay, don't let me go into that complexity yet. On day 10, we'll be talking about that. So, let's go to the next, hallucinations. I don't know if you've heard of hallucinations. Hallucinations, this is very critical because this can break your entire workflow. Now, AI can sound very confident and be completely wrong. In automation, that is extremely dangerous. So how do we reduce hallucination? Number one, you have to make sure you give context. Number two, you have to enforce structure. Number three, use RAG. I will explain what RAG is later on. You're going to try it out. Then number four, validate your output. So prompt engineering, how exactly do you prompt? Remember what I mentioned earlier? I said you don't prompt as if you're talking to a normal human being, you're talking to a machine. So you have to communicate in a machine language. Don't be scared. You won't be writing programming here. It's more of a natural language system that is a no code system. So don't be scared about that. So, though most beginners fail at this particular stage because they prompt for creativity, but we are going to learn how to prompt for what? For structure. So we are not asking AI to be smart. We are telling it to return this particular structure in this format with no deviation. Do you understand? Okay. So prompt formula. So how exactly do you write your prompt? You don't just want to write like 1,000 words. You want to make sure your prompt are structured. Remember what I said earlier. So Building this structured prompt, you have to follow this structure. I hope I'm not repeating too much word. So always make sure your prompt includes one, your role, the role of the prompt. Two, the context, the task you're expecting to perform, the constraints, that's the things you should never do, the output format, how exactly the information should be presented. So if you skip output format, for example, you lose control of the entire thing. You will say, we're going to test it out, so don't worry, you're going to understand some of these things very well soon. Now, what is a bad versus good prompt? When you say write a marketing caption, that is a huge problem because the system can translate this into several meanings. Do you understand? So whenever you're communicating with the system, you have to ensure you're writing based on JSON code. Now, this is the only code you're going to be writing, and it's very simple. All you just have to write is what? Bracket open, bracket close, then write your syntax of how the information should be displayed. That's all. So all this don't it's not a huge problem. By the time you continuously write, you will understand how to do this. And remember, this is not a programming class, so don't get scared. Now, as I mentioned, this helps you to take control of how your output is going to come out. You understand now? So, and automation loves what? Majorly structure. So, structured prompts equals what? Reliable automation. Now, structured outputs enforcement. How do you enforce a structured output? You always instruct it to return JSON only. You don't need markdown. You can tell it always instruct it no markdown, no commentary, and no explanation. So anything expects you to give it clean data because the next nodes depends on every data being generated. You'll see this as it works in real life. Now, prompt types. So we have four variations of prompts, but the best one, as I mentioned earlier, is a structured prompt. Now there's zero shot, that is, you give no examples, few shot with examples, role based, whereby you define the expertise, structured, that is a mandatory for automation. And in this course, always have at back of your mind, structured prompting is king. Okay. So now for the practical lab, I mentioned earlier we're going to be doing half theory, half practical. So don't be scared. This class is going to be very interesting as much as possible. If I speak too fast or I move too fast, you're free to pause the video, rewind, and try it yourself. You understand? So the text we're going to be we'll try a few texts where you can convert a text to a structured JSON, intent classification prompt, and optimize long prompts to make it very functional. So let me go through or go to the next page. So now I mentioned anything to you guys several times now. So you go to your browser and just search N8N on Google, or perhaps just go to n8n.io. So that is where we're going to be doing all our works today. Yeah. So okay, good. So this is how N10 website looks like. Ensure you don't go to the wrong website, please. So now, when you go to N10, let me try. I will show you how the system works. So don't worry about every other information that is here. But in case you want to go through it just to understand the platform, this wrote down a breakdown of what the platform does, how you can make use of it, what other platforms or what other tools it can communicate with. And as you can see, a lot of logos here. You building things on anything, you can communicate with virtually any tool in the world. Talking about Google Calendar, you can communicate with Slack, you can communicate with Asana, you can communicate with even ChatGPT, Gemini, you can communicate with which other tool do I remember? Airtable, Google Sheets, Google Slide, a lot of other things, even ChatGPT. You can communicate directly with ChatGPT API, whereby you can yeah, okay. Let me go through more through the detail. You can scroll through and read more about the brand. What we are most concerned about, you can just create an account here. So I'll create an account right now. So let's go to this n8n.io. So I want to walk you through how to create an account. So you click on get started. Let's do this. So here you enter your company email. So this, even though they ask for a company email, if you don't have a company email, you can use just normal Gmail. There's no issue with that. So I'll be using this company email and submit. So a pin will be sent to your email. So I'll go to my email right now. Now I go here in 404742. 404742. So I enter my name, then my password, then my account name. So this could be anything I want. So I'll use olamide.aluoja. Okay, mark this. Then start your free 14-day trial. Okay, I hope this works. Yeah, great. Okay, this is loading. Now you just follow the process as I do it right now, and you can create your own account also. So what we're going to be doing here, we're going to be creating our first automation. Very simple, and I will show you how exactly automation was. You don't need to cram anything yet. Don't worry, we'll still have more time to do more practicals. So here, what size of your company? You can just choose only me. What team are you on? You can just choose marketing, sales, wherever you feel. Then, have you built automation yourself in the past? Not yet. How did you hear about us? You can just put Google. It's not compulsory. Then now, if you want to collaborate with your teammates, you can actually invite them here to collaborate with you. Then I'm gonna skip because I'm not inviting anyone. Then what workspace? Start automation. Now we are in. This is what you get to see. Now on the left now we have, okay, let me check something just to be sure this course is still recording. Okay, I think something is wrong. Oh, okay, okay, I think we're still on. So let's continue. So this is Anyten interface. If you want to purchase the platform, I think is about, I can't remember how much it is for now, but don't worry about the price for now. We are just starting for the first 14 days. So here on the left now, you have the overview, you have your personal projects, you have charts. Thank God for chat. Now you can build an automation just with prompts. But I am going to teach you how to build automation in a very structured way. Now here, this I think these are some projects I worked on. Oh, okay. These are templates that I can actually start with. Now, let's go to something. So, if you want templates to see, okay, what other projects others has done, you just go to Anyten workflows. If you go to Anyten website, click on templates, you're going to have all these. So, you can see top 269 marketing automation workflows. You will see projects that others has done. You can even replicate theirs instead of you building from scratch. Do you understand? Now, let's start our first project. Start from scratch. This is how an Anyten interface looks like. So this is where you're coming from. This is your folder. You can specify your folder name. Let's call it SDST First Practical. Enter. You can add a tag. Tag helps you to arrange your files orderly so that you can quickly search through. When you're done with your project, you can publish. This icon here is history. Perhaps you made a mistake, you can go back and make modifications. This drop down, you have access to more features like duplicate, download, share, move, rename, and other things. Then here, this is a tool you'll be using all through the project. This is Open Notes panel, and this is a so when you click on this, you get to add tools for you to use in your entire automation. What else? Search. You can search. You can add sticky notes. You can collapse your panels, and just like I mentioned, this Anyten AI that helps you to build automatically using prompts. So I'll just skip this. and take you through and give you a sample of a project I've already worked on just for us to move faster. So, like I mentioned earlier, I said there are templates. Also, if you work on a project and you want to share with your friend, you can export it and share. So, the file I'm going to use in this video, I will share with you guys so that you can load it into your system and try it out yourself. And also, you can just follow the process and build it from scratch also. So, but first, I want to show you how it works so that you understand. Let me go here. Yes. So here, now this is a simple project I've built whereby I was trying to build a system that automatically creates content for my social. I have a small startup called Zido. It's a prop tech company. So what I'm trying to do here is instead of me employing a social media manager, I can build an automation system that writes all the prompts for me, that creates a content calendar, that writes the content, generate the images, generate the videos, create all this content all together, go to LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and post all this content automatically. So instead of me paying a staff over, assuming you're based in US, you have to pay a staff over $4,000 per month. Now you can build an automation system that won't cost you more than $100. That has saved you almost $3,900. Now imagine you as an automation expert. Now giving you the idea that this can make you a lot of money. Now imagine yourself as an automation expert. You can pitch startups or companies and say, okay, I can build your entire social media manager automated system that handles everything for your social media for just $2,000. Now, imagine they pay a normal staff $4,000. Now you save them 50% of the cost, and the system does not rest. It can work 24/7. That is the fun or the big deal about automation. Do you understand? So don't let me go into that. We'll talk more about that later on. I guess some of you guys are already interested in learning about that. Now, how did I create all this? So there's just like what I mentioned here. Whenever you want to start a project, you need a first instance. That is, how do you enter the project? Then, which is your trigger? Your trigger can come in different variations. It can be a webhook. It can be any format. Don't get scared or don't. So all these things you practice. By the time you practice more, you understand better. So first, you always know that you need a input. Do you understand? For you to specify, okay, let's start this project. That is your play button as if you want to play a video. Now, this is your engine. So I'm going to be giving you crude names, not directly the keywords or register words, just for you to understand. This is your starter, or your key or your ignition to your car. Now, this is the engine that connects to every other thing or that controls every other thing. For example, we said this is the key for your car. Now, this is the entire engine that controls the tire, that controls the light, that controls every other thing. Now, here, this thing is called chart model. Okay, let me show you how I brought this in so that you don't get confused. So here, I need this schedule trigger. What I will just do is click on this plus icon and type trigger. Now, can you see here, we have a lot of triggers. So there are several triggers you can use within Anything. So, but the one I'm going to be using right now is schedule trigger. You can also use one called manual trigger. This is it. You can see they look somehow alike. So the one we're going to use right now, what is the difference between a manual trigger and a schedule trigger? By the word you can understand. This manual trigger means you execute it yourself right now on the go. While schedule trigger, just like what I mentioned when you build the automation system, is that it runs by itself every day or any specific period you give to you. You can see here, I can specify that, okay, let this thing run every day, every hour, or every minute, or every week. Do you understand? You can specify the distance between the triggers, so which means I want it to run days every 2 days. Can you see now? Or every 5 days. So I can set this to 1. What time do I want it to run? Midnight, 1 a.m., 5 a.m., 7 a.m. Then trigger at minute to say maybe 2, or this is 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. You understand? You can add more rules and other things. So you understand exactly how to implement it. So I click on this, type trigger. Okay, let me just type schedule trigger. Click on it. Then it pops this out. Can you see? Very clean. You don't need to add anything at all. And this is it. Can you see now? That's all. So one thing you should notice that by the time you have two triggers active on a page, you're going to see here. Can you see this is schedule trigger? This one is named schedule trigger. This is named schedule trigger one. So you don't want to have two trigger at the same time because it gets the system confused. How do you deactivate the other trigger? So all you just have to do is highlight that entire system or press or highlight the first trigger and press D. D is deactivate. So if I highlight again and press D, it automatically what activates it. So I don't want conflict, so I will just deactivate this. Do you get it now? So now this will be my what? My trigger. This is where I start from. Now, the next thing I mentioned earlier is what? The engine. How do you get this engine? So the engine, let me click into it, is where you specify your prompt. Remember what we talked about how to write a prompt? Let me quickly go back there. I hope I can quickly find it. Yes, I mentioned when you're writing a prompt, you specify the role, the context, the task, the constraints, and the output format. Where do you put all these things? Right? So that is what you do inside the engine. Okay, so one sec. I'm running a lot of things at the same time, and so I guess the system is refusing to work. Okay, now I will show you how to do this. But first, how do you bring this into your own system? Assuming you have a clean design. So let's deactivate all this so that we don't get confused. So now, how do you get this? So you just type this and you type this. Can you see the first one? It's called what? An AI agent. What you have here is what? An AI agent. That is the what? The engine of your system. This is what helps you to communicate with every other section or build the where you specify your prompt. You can still use your prompt in several other places, but this is the first interface for you to communicate with. So generate an action plan and execute can use external tools. So you click on it and you can see here there's nothing here right now, so let's just close it. I just want to show you so that you understand how to do this. Now I have one, I have two. So how exactly did I connect both of it? It's very simple. So if you zoom in, can you see this plus icon here? That means that is your connector. So for every item, for every asset you bring in, or for every tool you bring in, all tool as connector. Some might have only one, some might have four, some might have two, depending on what the functionality is. So now if I zoom in, I can just drag this. You can see automatically when I drag that plus icon, I can drag it in and it links to this. Now, what did we do? We've connected two nodes together. This is a node, this is a node. Perhaps you can also call it a tool. This is one tool, and this is one tool. So now for every tool or for every node, you have like four actions at the top. One is play, one is switch off or deactivate, like I said earlier. You can delete. This is add to anything AI, in case you want to ask the AI some questions about this, and you have more features there that you can actually perform with it. Don't get scared yet. So just go as simple as I follow it. So number one, you have your trigger. Number two, you have your engine. Then in number three, you have your output. So it's just like computer. When you were told a computer has an input, has a processor, and has the what? The output. So exactly that's what you're building. That is automation for you. Now we've added your input or your start or your trigger, whichever it is. You have your processing system, then you have your output. Do you understand? So now I'm going to keep it as simple as possible. We just do this. Now let's delete this. So remember I said I'm going to give you this so you can try it out yourself. Now, what did I do next after I generated that? So what I did was you click on this drop down and click on define now or define below. This is where you define your prompt. So this icon here helps you to expand the entire system. So I'm going to click on this. So now remember what we're talking about. How do you structure your prompts? Number one, you specify the role, you specify the context, you specify the task, you specify the constraints, and you specify the output format. Now I'm going to give you the templates to play with, but also I'll teach you by the time we go forward, you will learn how to build it yourself also. So here I'm specifying the role. I said you are a creative marketing expert specializing in AI automation. The context. You create engaging social media content that connects AI automation to current trending topics in tech, business, culture, or innovation. The goal is to make AI automation feel timely, relevant, and exciting for businesses. Then use this web search to find one random trending topic. Two, generate a compelling 2-3 sentence. Three, make the caption punchy, engaging, and persuasive. Then constraints, caption must be 2 to 3 sentences only, must clearly connect AI automation to the trending topic, blah, 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 blah. Then the output format, remember I showed you output format in the presentation earlier here, whereby you can set your hook, your caption, your city, that is the structure of your outputs. Remember that? Oh, I don't want to come out. Okay, so I hope it gets in. One sec. Okay, we're back. So that is what this is. So don't worry, by the time we practice more, you understand how to structure this. So let me just run this and you see exactly how it works. Now, the only tool I connected to this node is OpenAI chat model. Now, what does this do? So this is my own prompt. This prompt has to take action using other tools. Do you understand? This is your AI agent that is the driver now. So but it has to communicate with other tools. A car cannot move without the tires, no matter how perfect your engine is. Is that right? So now this car now, that's why we have a perfect engine, the perfect body. Now let's call this the let's just call it the tire for now. Just make it simple. So you can have other things to it that complements it if you want that. But right now, let's just keep all this to make this the whole system simple. So how did I connect this? So let me add an AI agent again. Click. Now let's close. Remember I said you're going to click on define now to specify the prompt. Then here on the chart model, click on this plus icon. It lists out all the items you can connect to this section. So what I did, I just clicked on open AI chart model. Then I can specify the kind of language model I want to use. So all through this course, just stick to 4.1 mini, and this is totally free for now. Then you can see this now is the same as what we have here. Aside, the only difference now is that after I click on this drop down, I specify the prompt. That's all. Now let's run this and let's see the magic happen. Now you just built your first automation system. Let me click on execute. So you can see this is active. It just rolled up. Then the output is out. It says one item out. But where is it? So if I double click this right now, you can see something here. This is the input. This is all the information the system picked. This is the output. Now, your input comes in 3 formats, either schema, table, or JSON. This is automatically built for you. You don't have to write any code. You notice I mentioned earlier, this is not a programming course. The system automatically helps you to structure your info. As long as you have a structured instruction, then it's going to automatically communicate, map it out for you. Now, the output is now here. So you can see your output in either a table format, a JSON format, or a schema. Schema is like plain text. You understand now? So let me zoom in. Now you can see here the result of what I just did is that the output this is going to be generating trending topic, agentic AI, topic, category, tech, caption. The structure of what I asked it to do, I said she generate caption for me about automation that I can post maybe on my Twitter every day. That's why I asked it to do. So now you can see now agentic AI is revolutionizing industries by autonomously planning and executing complex tasks by driving blah 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 blah. The future is now. Are you ready? You can see now. And what did I do? I just built this system. Now let me execute it again and let's see what happens again. Boom. I double click again. Can you see? It has generated another content for me. It says in 2026, AI is revolutionizing the wearable tech industry, transform devices from simple trackers into these blah 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 blah. And that is the content for me. And it even added a source to it to verify that this information is not just generic. Now, congratulations, you just beat your first automation. I guess quite a number of things I said might still be tricky, but don't worry. When I give you this file, create your own account in anything, try it out, experiment with it, and see the results. Now, you can come here, come into this prompt, click on this arrow here. You can change the prompts. There is no, you can decide I want to write about, let's say, food, Nigerian food. I pray it works. Please don't fuck up. So Nigerian foods. Oh, I don't have the time to structure this now. Okay, let me just do something just to show you that this is possible. So let me just go to ChatGPT. Help me refine this prompt to this prompt for a chef, but maintain same structure. Enter. So instead of me having to write it all over from scratch, so I told it to help me restructure that text. So you can even pick what I've written, give it to ChatGPT to help you write it out, and that's all. So you already have this. I copy this now, go into my file, replace this. Please work. So sometimes automation is funny. You might play it out now and it wouldn't work there. Fingers crossed. So are you ready to test it out? Now let's click on execute. Oh, one more thing. I guess I missed out something. Okay, let's see. If it does not generate it, then I'll fix the error. Yeah, thank you. Now, can you see the results now? Trending topic 2026 is the new 2016. Topic category culture, dish concept, retro Sunday, whatever that is. A nostalgic dessert that layers classic 2016 favorite, vanilla bean ice cream, salted caramel drizzle, and a blah 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 blah. That's the caption for me, and I'm good. So I can press execute again. And let's test this out. Wow, this even has an emoji. 2026 Grammy, the topic category, entertainment, dish. Okay, let me click on table. Maybe you see better. Let's see, Jason. Well, let's just keep this. So then dish concept, introducing the golden record dessert, a decadent dark chocolate sphere filled with gold dusted vanilla bean mouse, blah 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 blah. So you can see now this works perfectly well. Now this is your first automation and it works well. You can structure, you can think, remember something, as you can think as wild as possible. There is no limitation. So think of different scenarios of anything you can build and just play with this and generate it. Do you understand? That is the fun part of automation. Now let's work on one more, a little bit more complex. So I'll quickly work fast on this. I don't want to waste too much time because our time is almost up. Now, this one here generates social media content for my startup. Now, I have a more structured or complex system that I'm going to show you in the next class. Just make sure you don't miss it. Now, this is a much smaller system also. So what I did here, I'll just quickly show you how I got everything. This is called a form input. So just click on form, anything form. We have next form page, we have form ending. You can use this. So you can see this now. We have the same thing here. I've generated this for you, so you can use this already. So what I just did was, how did I get this? This is called an AI agent. Remember that. So this AI agent, you close it. Now these are AI agents. Now how did we get this? You click on plus. You scroll down. Click on ChatGPT model. Now that's it. Then past JSON, I installed something to get this. But for now, when you install this, you're able to have this. When you download this file, you have access to everything. Now, how did I get this? This is called HTML formatting. So this helps you to output your information in a structured formatting size. So HTML data. So this is HTML. Can you see now? Click on this, generate HTML template, close. You can see now the same thing. That's all. So remember, how do you connect? You click on the plus icon or you come to this edge and you connect, and that's all. So now I did some other things here which might wow you a little. So remember, before I run this other code, I had to disable this first section so that there is no conflict. How do you disable? You press letter D. Now it's active. You press letter D again. Now is what? Deactivated. This was initially deactivated. So if you press D, you can see everything is deactivated. If I press D again, it has activated. Make sure you don't have two conflicting contents so that you don't get confused when you're running it. So I click on execute. Do you see what happened just now? A pop-up showed up whereby I stated all this. Now, how did I do this? I will explain in our next course, but I don't want to waste too much time. So now here, what I did or what I built here is that the system picks a topic, picks the keyword, picks the link, and generates a content for me. Now let me go here. Remember what we said? This is your what? This is your engine where you specify what? How the system works. That is the prompt. Remember our prompt? How does a prompt work? You specify the role, the context, the task, the constraint, the output format. If you follow this structure alone, you will get a lot of things. Now, how did I do the role? Now, this is the role. This you are a content AI for Zido, a PropTech platform fixing Nigeria's real estate market using AI property search, verified listing, and web WhatsApp access. Now, what is the context? So I said Zedo creates addictive, strong, driven content for LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, blah, 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 blah. The content must what? Position Zido as a structured real estate infrastructure, blah, blah, blah. Can you see? So number one, I stated the rule. Number two, I stated the context. Number three, I stated the task. So you have to specify exactly what the system should do. Now I said use this input that is title to what, and this is a JSON code for what, for topic or title or whichever one you give. You can call it caption, whatever you need. Don't worry, I'm going to give you this. You can replicate it, change the code. You notice what I did? I took this to ChatGPT to structure it for me for any other industry I want to use it for. Now, the rules, read this title. Any title I enter in this, where is it again? Okay, I will open it again. Any title I will enter into that pop-up I showed you earlier, pick it, then read that title, research that title using ChatGPT model we added, create platform-specific content for LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube. Follow a natural story. Mention Zido only if it strengthens the story. Constraints. These are the core rules. Number one, I tell you to okay, educate first, use cultural truth, keep post story driven, do not oversell, do not label story, and don't use what? M dashes. You see it a lot in AI generated content. Now, platform guidance. For my LinkedIn, you can see I specify don't write more than 7 to 12 short paragraphs, blah, blah, blah. Twitter, 5 to 10 tweets thread. Instagram, 2 to 4 sentence caption. TikTok, 30 to 45 seconds skits, script for me to generate. Facebook, 3 to 5 paragraph storytelling. YouTube, 30 to 60-second scripts to record a video. Then the final part is what? Output. Return structured content in this format. Can you see? Bracket open, bracket close. Title, remember that we have a title. To generate the LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, blah, blah, blah. Then column and this. So everything I input into it, this is it now. Can you see? Now the last thing is pass JSON output. Now, don't get scared. So I showed you a sample JSON output there. Anytime when you're writing this, you can go to ChatGPT, you can tell it to help me structure or write out my JSON schema, and the system tries to give you this. But you can also learn it with time so that you can write it yourself. So it's very simple anyway. We are not going into that right now. Then the format content. So here, this is, I'll show you how to generate this later also. So automatically, I'm going to tell the system to every content he has gotten to build a website or a mini website within the system so that I can see the information. Wow, I guess I've talked a lot. So let me run this so that you can see it in action. Are you ready? Now, let's kick this. Start. So let's say mortgage. I want the system to write about mortgage in Nigeria or about mortgage generally. So I can write a very long sentence. I just want to write a very short so that we see the result. So when I click on that, you can see it. The system is running. Immediately I enter mortgage. So now the system is done. If I double click this, can you see this? Just within a second, now we have this built out. So this now generated LinkedIn caption. You can see I can copy this and just go to LinkedIn and paste it. Twitter caption: mortgage in Nigeria is like Niger traffic, stressful, confusing, and you might get stuck. Only 5% get it right, blah blah blah. Wanna win, study the game, even added hashtags. Instagram post, can you see? Generated Instagram post. For TikTok, it generated the script for us to use. So you're trying to get a mortgage in Nigeria. Okay, I want to own a home, simple, right? Fill these 20 forms, blah, blah, blah. You can see it. Facebook, it also generated content for Facebook, and that's all. Now imagine you All you need to do is just connect four simple nodes, and you can represent an entire content team. So you can build more expressive or more complex systems, but this you can imagine if just these four nodes can build something like this. Imagine you building a more structured system, whereby a more complex system that can handle projects for bigger companies, and that's it. You get paid for this. Just in your first class, we've tested two automation systems and they work perfectly well. So let's try this again. Let's play. I like to play with automation a lot. So here, if you click on logs, this is a preview of everything that is going on right here. So in case you clicked on it and you get confused at what is actually here. So now let's try it one more time. Execute. So I'm going to draw this to the left. So let's say Gen Z investing in real estate. So I can add keywords or hashtags, generate cool content. Can you see the system is thinking now, communicating with OpenAI model? We'll use the past JSON output and export it out in that same structured format we have. Can you see now? So let me do this. Let me see if I can pop this out. Okay, pop out. Enter. Let me maximize it so I can see it very well. Now, can you see this now? You have social media content ready, Gen Z investing in real estate. It has generated the company LinkedIn content for me, generated Twitter content for me, generated Instagram content for me, generated TikTok content, generated Facebook content, generated YouTube content. Now, you can go as wild as anything you can imagine. This is just the first stage. You can tell the system to generate all this, send it to your stakeholders, even send it as an email to the team for verification. You can tell the system to publish it itself to Google, to Facebook. Automatically, it's published to LinkedIn, published to Twitter automatically. Remember what we talked about earlier when we said schedule trigger. So you can add an automation trigger here that says, okay, every morning at 8 a.m., generate a content for this brand and publish on all social platforms without you having to come here. You can be sleeping in your room and this system will be working 24/7 for you, and the company will be paying you the salary. That is how fun automation is. For you guys who have never seen automation or have never experienced automation before, that is how it works. You can be a nomad, travel to UK, travel to, let's say, Maldives, travel to Kenya, and you can have an AI automation system content creator working for more than 4 or 5 companies, and the system will keep working by itself automatically for these companies while you sleep or while you tour around the world. So the system automatically, just like what I mentioned, creates the content, posts on all their socials, and even to the extent that replies comments, replies messages, and even follow-ups with clients. That is the extent of how far you can actually go. I guess my time is up, and I hope you learned a lot. I'm sorry if I bombard you in this first class alone, but I'm trying to show you what is possible for you to learn in this course. Now, imagine how much you've learned in this only first class. I can bet with you, you will be wowed in the next classes. So try not to miss it and ensure you follow through. Test it out. That is very important before you go to the next course. Make sure you test this out. I will download the file and also share it with you so that you can try it out and test out yourself. Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing you in the next class. Catch you. Bye bye.